Here, happy Monday. I have a slow computer, but this is actually how I'm talking. But yeah, no, the last couple minutes, man, my stuff's been going so slow. I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. But then when the clock struck 12, everything was better. So hopefully it cooperates. I probably should have restarted my computer before going live or something like that, but you know, I didn't. So we're here, we're stuck with it. Whatever, we'll be all right, man. Happy Monday. What up, dang lazy mofo? What up, Derek? Let's do this, man. Let's do this. We've got baseball tonight, as we do every day, and you know, for the next month or so, baseball, that's all we got. That's all we need until football comes back and things start getting a little bit back to normal and people don't have to pretend to care about baseball anymore. But we love it. Hopefully you guys will love it as well. And hopefully tonight we can navigate through just a 7-game slate and come away with some winning picks. Looking like a bunch of ownership being cumulatively collective on just a few guys, which always makes these smaller slates, mid-sized slates, a little bit fun to navigate for people like me. If you like to turn these type of slates into math problems where guys start pushing 40-50% owned, and then you can kind of you know, push back even more so and play ranges of outcomes versus playing, you know, what probably is the best play pre-flop. But no matter where you're at in terms of your daily grind, whether you are a multi-entry math guy or you're just out there trying to fire away a couple darts, maybe play some tiers, hopefully information in this stream can help you achieve whatever you need. I'm Gun. If you're new to the channel, if you're stumbling across this video on YouTube, this is my DFS content channel. Sometimes video games, sometimes. So, you know, we leave it under the Gundacker Gaming umbrella. If you like daily content when the seasons come for NFL, NBA, and now baseball, definitely hit that subscribe button. Maybe turn on that bell. We do a lot of our content via the live stream. It's just more fun for me and easier for me to hit the live button and get to blabbering. I'm also stalling because on my second screen I am loading up our I guess our show sponsor, PrizePicks. If you guys are living under a rock and you haven't been exposed to a person or entity that is sponsored by PrizePicks, what they have allowed most of us to do is offer new signups a $100 deposit bonus. So basically you can double your initial deposit up to $100. No slow drip. It's instant. You have the credit in your account instantly right away, and then you get, you know, up to $200 worth of credit to start firing out some parlays. I believe their min bet's $5, so you do the math on that. But they have a baseball product in addition to having stuff on everything. Like, I don't even know what OWB ball is. Looks like it's women's basketball, Olympic women's basketball. Is that how I interpret that? So they have stuff for everything. So this is such a unique concept to extend and diversify your daily fantasy sports research and spend. Right, we're gonna do a lot of research on these baseball plays anyway, and then, you know, for football and for basketball, and a lot of times we can't play everybody because of salary, and sometimes we just don't want to play somebody, so we bet the under. Go check out PrizePicks, man. It's a really unique way to kind of extend your current bet. You know, you're not really chasing the GPPs, you know, the 100Ks to first. However, I think this could be a really solid substitute for cash games. If you guys missed the cash games of yesteryear, where you you know, just double up your deposit. So there is 2 entry parlays you guys can fire up. What I like to target on PrizePicks for baseball is MLB pitcher K props. So you go to MLBP, single stat DFS, strikeouts, and you'll see a couple of guys listed today that are on the bump today, like Kyle Hendricks is at 4. There's not a whole lot of big ones, just 6.5 on Garcia, Ohtani, and then German Marquez against the Angels at 5.5. So there's some fun ones, a lot of low ones. Usually see a couple 7.5s, 8s, something like that. Not today. And then for hitters, I like to target the fantasy points. If you guys already do your research and maybe play on Fanduel, they have the same scoring. So usually if I like a guy for like a homer, some people might bet 1.5 bases or hits plus walk or something like that. I like to just go bet on the fantasy score. A homer's easily going to eclipse total bases, but you could also, just in case it's an off the wall, green monster single, maybe a stolen base or run, something like that, kind of tacks onto it. So a lot of these 5.5s are something that I would be really, really keen on. So go check out PrizePicks.com, sign up using code GUNDACKER, and get up to $100, double your instant deposit bonus. What up, Quinn? What up, Darian? What up, Blair? Man, how we doing out there, boys? Happy Monday. If you guys did anything cool over the weekend, let me know. Throughout the duration of this stream, we're going to be using the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet, and that's going to help us navigate each game, pitcher by pitcher, batter by projected batter, and maybe walk away with some of our favorite stacks and some of our favorite fades. We're also going to be using Fangraphs. If you guys haven't made yourself acclimated to how to navigate Fangraphs, I definitely encourage you to do so. I've done videos in the past kind of dropping a tutorial on how to navigate. Perhaps it's time for a new one. They've kind of updated. I also probably need to drop a new spreadsheet tutorial. I did record one the other day, but those things get so long, and I just feel so bad because I know a lot of you guys that are maybe from other sports are just listening to a monotonous 80-year-old college professor. Just Bueller, you click hard contact rate, and you're looking. It's hard to make that stuff interesting, but I know there's a need for explaining it, right? And then a unique plus for this show versus the morning shows or other shows is sometimes these lineups are dropping as we're on the air. Like since I've been on the air, the Phillies lineup came out and the Reds lineup came out. So that will also help us make some better, quicker decisions that maybe we can attack some of these betting lines and some of these K props before they have time to adjust from other money that gets in there. So chat, let me know how we doing. And I'll adjust the Phillies and Reds lineups, and then we'll start. Actually, we can go game by game anyway, and maybe adjust that as we go. So let's just do that, right? Let's just do that. You ready? You ready? Pencils up. Notebooks out. Game number 1 tonight. The Nats at the Phillies. We got Joe Ross on the bump against Spencer Howard. The Phillies did drop a confirmed lineup, so let me double check that versus the projected lineup and get this cord out of the way. Gene Segura, JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins, Didi Gregorius, Ronald Torreyes in the 7th spot. Former Yankee great. One of my favorite bits of that Yankees team was the Toe Night Show. And Ronald Torreyes had like a gimmick camera he made out of shaving cream bottles and cardboard. Odubel Herrera and Spencer. That's our confirmed Phillies lineup. Implied run total for the Nats, 4.6 runs. 5 runs on the Phillies. Nats are about ready to hit that panic button to start selling off a couple of interesting, lucrative names. Trey Turner, Juan Soto, Max Scherzer, all have been mentioned. And Spencer Howard on the bump here. 5.32 xFIP against lefties, 5.35 against righties. Nats, for what it's worth, out there in Citizens Bank Park, a bandbox of sorts. Just a 4.6 implied run total. So it does feel a little bit low because the Phillies starting pitcher and the Phillies bullpen, not particularly great. And that might be one of my first, should I bet the over spots of the day? I guess it would depend on the Nationals' confirmed lineup. But matchup-wise, I think the Nats are pretty top-heavy in terms of what to target. Trey Turner, Juan Soto will forever be my favorite handcuff from this Nats team. Alcides Escobar, for what it's worth, has been hitting for a great average since his return to It's a sing. I thought I heard like white radio static in the background since his return to the league. And then Josh Bell batting 276 against righties over the course of the last 2 years with high ISO. So maybe you punch in there in Escobar. I wish he hit for more power for me to feel a little bit better. But Josh Bell certainly could make a 3 live crew out of these Nats here. And then I don't mind some Jay Hayes, some Gerardo Parra if I have to extend to a 5-man stack from these Nats. But definitely I would be building around Trey Turner, Juan Soto, but that's such a basic approach to them. Looking at Spencer Howard, his weakness right now is really power to righties. We've got a 45.5% fly ball rate to righties, almost a 40% hard contact rate, a 1.42 home run per 9, and a 15% walk rate. So Trey Turner's in a good spot to maybe flex a little power there. And then Josh Harrison might surprise some people. I don't know that we have any other power righties that they could slip in there to stun us. Maybe a catcher gets the benefit of the doubt here, but I definitely like Trey Turner there to match up with these numbers. And then he hasn't given up a bomb to a lefty yet, but I think it's just a matter of time, especially a guy like Juan Soto, still a fly ball pitcher, 2 lefties, high line drive rate. The hard contact rate has certainly dipped versus his hard contact rate to righties. However, Juan Soto, a professional hitter. So really, really good spot here for some power projection. A lot of pitchers these days lean more towards the ground ball. Even the bad pitchers have leaned more towards the higher ground ball rate, and this is one of those spots where Howard's still relying on the fly ball. So I definitely don't mind sniffing out some Nats here for some power. All right, what up, Julian? Happy Monday. Joe Ross, on the other hand here, 3.59 xFIP to righties, 4.7 xFIP to lefties. The K rate, 26% versus lefties, 23% to righties. We got 87 innings of sample size, a 1.2 whip, right? We've seen worse numbers, and on this size slate, like I wish it wasn't. I don't know. I wish it wasn't this Phillies lineup. This Phillies lineup doesn't offer really a ton of strikeout potential. 14%, a lot of 22s, and then there's a 27% for Rhys Hoskins. I don't feel like I'm getting a maximum ceiling lineup in terms of strikeouts. And Joe Ross certainly serves them up to left-handed hitters, a 1.74 home run per 9 to lefties, 38% hard contact rate with a 42.3% fly ball rate to lefties. So Bryce Harper's in a decent enough spot where you might project him to go yard here. I'm going to go check out the pitch report here and double check each pitcher's primary and secondary pitches to maybe see if we can dig a little deeper for some power, because it's been a while since I've had that Didi Gregorius feeling in my bad knee. Usually what I look for Didi is a pitcher that allows lefties to pull, because almost every Didi homer is going to be a pull homer, and then a guy that throws a lot of sliders. So Joe Ross does throw fastball, slider, and Didi Gregorius, as you see, a 1.62 rating on that slider. So maybe Didi could also sneak into one here based on this number and these metrics. And on the Howard side, we're looking at a pretty average fastball, 71.7% of the time. So Trey Turner, Juan Soto both still hitting that check mark here, but Josh Harrison and Barrera both have plus ratings against that fastball. So a couple names to write down. No warm and fuzzies on these pitchers. I don't think I get to any Spencer Howard right now. I don't want to get to any Joe Ross, but I think I could understand if you did. Let's move on to the next game here. The Red Sox hosting the Blue Jays. Red Sox finishing up a 4-game 3-1 series victory over the Yankees, and they look to keep it going. So basically the Yankees and the Blue Jays were kind of chasing the Rays and the Red Sox for division positioning, but more I guess more so the wild card positioning. So it's going to continue to be some meaningful baseball here for the Blue Jays, and then the Red Sox and the Rays are really bouncing around for top of their division. So getting some of these division wins will be great for the Red Sox to create separation from the middle of the barrel trying to get after it, but also more wins would help them out in their quest to take the division. Blue Jays projected starting pitcher today, Thomas Hatch, taking on Nick Pivetta. Thomas Hatch, we've got no sample size so far this season on him. So I guess what we would have to do is maybe bring up MLB.com and let me double check that with Fangraphs. I did do a full information refresh this morning, so I believe every number I have is super accurate. But kind of crazy that we don't have any sample size so far. So Thomas Hatch splits 10.2, 2.2. That's from last year. So I guess what we have to do is go lean on his minor league numbers this year. So if you guys ever want to maybe look up minor league guys, if you see a rookie call-up that is 0 for 9 or 1 for 15 so far in their big league career, and you want to know if their pedigree is a little bit better, you can start taking some chances for positive regression. MILB.com, that's the place I go for some information. So right now, Thomas Hatch, today's pitcher for the Blue Jays, we go check out his minor league numbers. We've got about 29 innings of sample size in the minors, 13.2 innings against lefties in the minors, a 170 average allowed, an under 1 whip, and a 1-2-1 ground out to air out ratio. Has allowed 2 homers in 13 innings. That's a little bit higher than what you would want it, but everything else is positive in terms of keeping the traffic down. 5 walks in those 13, maybe a little bit higher than I would like it, but still under a 1 whip, so barely. And against righties, 15.2 innings pitched, a 204 average allowed, a 115 whip, 21 strikeouts in those 15 innings against righties. So he's above a strikeout per inning against righties, and then allowed just 1 homer. So it looks like he's a little bit of a platoon guy when it comes to strikeouts. Definitely strikes out righties a little bit more. And another thing I'm going to look at is his game logs. Is he a stretched out starter? So on July 13th, he went 5 innings. July 6th, he went 5 innings, was 6 strikeouts in those 5 innings on both occasions. 1 hit and 3 hits, 3 walks in that 1-hitter game at Rochester, and then 5 innings for, So maybe they still 4 or 5 innings out of him. It is definitely asking a lot for a guy to come from AAA and then go start in Fenway against the Red Sox and do well. So I don't think I get to Thomas Hatch as a play here, but there have been some decent K games by the Red Sox lately. Heck, Domingo Germán had a no-no with double-digit Ks going for a bit, but I don't think I bet on the kid to come up and do it in Thomas Hatch. Nick Pivetta on the bump for the Red Sox. I never have warm and fuzzies when it comes to playing Nick Pivetta. He's got a pretty elevated xFIP to both sides of the plate. Strikeout stuff is there, right? There is a world where he can land a strikeout per inning or greater, but it is Fenway, and there's a tough spot. We have the Blue Jays at a 5.1 implied run total, Red Sox at 6, and this is probably a game where I think I like Dave Jones, appreciate that, joining the club, man, joining the YouTube membership. Now I'm gonna start having to do members only content, Dave. This is your fault. Well, I'll probably do a free version of the spreadsheet for YouTube members, but if you guys also want the spreadsheet, there's a perk of having a sub at rundfs.com. What up, Shadow Dog? Anyway, let's get back into this one. Nick Pivetta is somebody I probably don't have the warm and fuzzies on playing here. Again, the Blue Jays offense have a lot to play for. They re-pick up the DH, had a weird stretch in their last week where there was a couple games where they didn't get to play with a DH in NL Park, and this is a all-out fight for wild card positioning matchup for them. So I think it's going to be 2 hungry offenses, and I don't think I want to get to pitchers. I think against better judgment, I'll probably in like 150 lineups have to get to a little bit of Nick Pivetta. Maybe I consider a little bit of Thomas Hatch, but for the most part, I think it's offenses that are piquing my interest in this one. And yeah, we don't have a confirmed lineup for the Blue Jays yet, but this is our confirmed Red Sox lineup. I think what I noticed about this lineup is there is no Xander Bogaerts. So a really solid bat in the middle of the lineup, the heart of the lineup. It doesn't make the cut here, so you rely a little bit more on like Rafael Devers in that cleanup spot. JD Martinez batting third, guaranteed first inning at bat there for JD. That's not something he's had in a bit, so maybe that does elevate his lucrativity. But again, Thomas Hatch, if he pitches closer to his median output in the minors and then what we saw last year, he can be a ground ball guy and a strikeout guy to righties. So I think I'm just going to bet on the talent, bet on the offenses here. And then right now, like in 20 lineups or less, I probably wouldn't like to get to a Nick Pivetta. But like I said, if I have to get to 100, 150, and I just need to diversify the pitching portfolio a little bit, I might get to Pivetta with some really tapered expectations. Maybe a strikeout per inning, hopefully a quality start, something like that. But I definitely have interest in stacking the Blue Jays up. And as well as the Red Sox, right? Let's move on to the next game here. Cubs hosting the Reds. I think this game could get a little bit of fun. This is a rare night Wrigley game, right? We got Wade Miley up against Kyle Hendricks. We did get a confirmed Reds lineup. It's looking like Jonathan India, Jesse Winker, Aquino is batting third. Let's go. He's a guy that's always popping in the bomb detector, but he's always batting sixth or seventh at home. And it's just like the bomb detector is basically going off of maybe 1.5 implied at bats at that point. Joey Votto's batting cleanup, known power hitter. Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez batting fifth. Tyler Naquin is batting sixth, and then Kyle Farmer in the seventh spot. Tucker Barnhart batting eighth, and then of course Wade Miley on the bump. We don't have a confirmed Cubs lineup yet. Cubs, like a couple of these other teams, are selling, right? They got the windows open, they got the drive-through open, they got a guy on the intercom saying, would you like a number, Chris Bryant, an Anthony Rizzo, something like that, maybe a Craig Kimbrell, huh? So I think any day now, some of these lineups are going to get late swapped here. I think this is deadline week, so look out for this Cubs lineup to maybe be a little bit different, especially these teams that have some big trade bait. They might just be starting to put some guys on ice to avoid injury risk, but for what it is right now, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, both in a projected lineup, and Wade Miley, a contact lefty. On the road so far this season, Wade Miley, a 0.54 home run per nine, a 52.4% ground ball rate, and a 22.3% hard contact rate. I don't rate home road splits for a lot, but I do think it's fair to look at the home road splits on like a Wade Miley, Great American Ballpark versus something else. And Wrigley, depending on the wind, could play neutral, and I think right now it is, barely above league average in home runs for the stadium, and right now it doesn't look like there's any crazy wind associated with this, so it should be a pretty neutral park to pitch in. Kyle Hendricks on the bump for the Cubs, $9,700. He's a guy that does not offer a ton of strikeout potential, kind of Greinke-esque in terms of pitching to contact, maybe navigating through some good real-life baseball games, but not somebody that really makes my eyes widen at 9,700, at least not in a good way. Just a 19.5% strikeout rate against lefties this season and a 16% to righties. Does have a 1.79 home run per nine allowed to lefties. I don't think that's a stat that's necessarily supported by any egregious changes in his advanced metrics, right? The fly ball rate, the hard contact rate, the line drive rate. I guess the line drive rate is up like 4% from last year, but all the other metrics are kind of on par. Maybe the hard contact going from 21 to 28, sure, but it's not like it's close to 40. 40% is like usually the guys that are really, really, really giving him some power here, so I'm sure his fly ball to home run rate is pretty high. But a 1.79 home run per nine so far this season to lefties. Maybe Jesse Winker gets into one, takes advantage of that. Even past the power allowed, he is allowing just a high average, 256 to righties, 289 to lefties. So maybe we get into a couple of these Winkers and Vottos to get on base a couple times. Not necessarily a matchup that gives us positive splits when the bullpen comes in. They're still allowing a below league average hits and home run per nines out of the bullpen. So no warm and fuzzies here. Just a 4 implied run total. I'm not running to stack the Reds. That's more of a home thing for them that I like to target. And on the Cubs side, I could get behind some of these bats against a contact lefty like Wade Miley at 19% strikeout rate to righties. Like, you could sell me on the Javi Baez, who has a near 30% K rate to lefties. We neutralize that a little bit. Chris Bryant, Patrick Wisdom, a 42% strikeout rate to just about anything but lefties here. He's a guy that hits homers when he's not striking out. He's almost a 2 true outcome hitter. So if you give him a shot to not strike out, he's got massive power. So there's definitely some Cubs righties that I will be putting in the blender for me, and this bullpen has been above average in home runs per nine. In home run per nine plus, the bullpen has a 131. I think a lot of that is based on the Great American Ballpark kind of being factored in here, but I can still get behind this Cubs in theory and in principle as a stack. So give me some Cubs here. I'm not that enamored by the Reds. There are a few guys that I could get behind just because they're getting some opportunities like Aquino, but the Cubs, I think if this is our lineup, the Contreras, Bryant, Rizzo, Baez, Wisdom, I don't think there's any reason why in 100, 150 I wouldn't have some shares of this. So, yeah, I'll definitely be behind that. You guys got any love for this one? You stack Houston and you start Ohtani on Fanduel late slate? Yes. What up, Sean? Yo, chat. Do we give Sean an opportunity to apologize for his crazy Willie Peralta take on Friday? That I was very tippy-toe and cordial about. Yeah, Dave, definitely think Ohtani is probably the cash game pitcher play on both sides. The contrarian GPP mind in me wants to push back, but if I'm pushing back against that, it's really just going to be in tournaments and trying to capture that range of outcomes where he's not the nuts. I do think he's easily pre-flop a top 2 pitcher play on the site, so I would be with him on cash on FanDuel. We'll get to the Astros games momentarily, but let me peek ahead just to kind of foreshadow a little bit. Astros at the Mariners, yeah, as the road team too. Yeah, I definitely would have a lot of interest in the Astros too, so I don't mind that as well. I would assume that they come at some type of ownership, but I haven't dug into ownership yet. I like to do the research first and then look at ownership. I think ownership, don't quote me, I think ownership is free on Osmo today. So if you guys haven't tried Osmo and want to get a taste of some stuff they offer, my favorite thing that Osmo has is the ownership. So if it is free, and I think it is, don't quote me, check that out, and that's a cool way for you to start gauging the next dimension of math problem behind DFS. All right, Royals hosting the White Sox. We do have a confirmed Royals lineup, so let's get that crunched in. Whit Merrifield, another trade bait name, Carlos Santana in the 2 spot. Salvi, Jorge Soler, who hit not 1, but 2 big bombs. Anoche, or I guess yesterday. I don't know how to say yesterday in Spanish, just last night. Don't ask me why. Hunter Dozier in the 6th spot. 7th spot's going to be Hanser Alberto, former Baltimore great, Michael A. Taylor, and Gerard Dyson rounding it up at 9th. That is our confirmed Royals lineup. On the bump, Dallas Keuchel versus Mike Minor. We got a battle, some southpaws going at it. White Sox basically coasting their way to a division win. They are leading that division, and of course probably hitting the playoffs with ease. Dallas Keuchel 7,500 here. He's got a 12.8% K rate to righties, a really high ground ball rate. I mean, this is darned if you do, darned if you don't type of strikeout versus ground ball rate. The Royals are kind of righty heavy here today. Just 3 guys batting from the left batter's box, but Keuchel will challenge a stack, right? He could play spoiler with that ground ball rate, and he does allow a decent amount of power overall to righties. 121 home run per 9, but I think like I said, we could paint the picture that he could spoil some stacks with a low hard contact rate and a high ground ball rate. So I would have some Royals begrudgingly, but it wouldn't be like a high percentage of equity. It would just be just in case they get a bunch through. Because if he allows with Merrifield on, Merrifield can steal. Santana, Salvi can definitely homer. Jorge Soler has power. So it's just one of those. I think it is a range of outcome, but it's probably like a 4% or 5% type of situation. And then the bullpen is decent to decent plus. So not running to the Royal stack. 4.6 is their implied run total, but I could definitely get behind creating a picture of a couple base runners and a bomb here and there. It does kind of fall off a cliff, I guess. I guess maybe not. I can make cases for just about everybody. Gerard Dyson's more of just a speedster. If you're playing him, you're basically playing him to get on base and swipe a bag. It's not going to hit for power or anything like that. Hanser Alberto has been batting an insane average against lefties over the course of the last 2 years. So maybe get him to get on base twice, and maybe there's a ribby or a run attached to that. But it's really just the top of the lineup I'd have the most of. Merrifield, Santana, Salvi. I don't think I play any Keuchel here. I'm curious to see if Keuchel's got a couple of games against the Royals this season. Just kind of see how that went. Keuchel splits against Casey. No, he hasn't. Keuchel just doesn't give you a ton of massive upside. We do have a 26, a 24 against Tampa and Toronto. Toronto is a little bit more surprising. Tampa has been like the worst team in the league against lefties, so in retrospect, that's not as stunning, but it is something that happened. Mike Minor on the bump for the Royals, potential trade guy for them. 4.59 xFIP against righties this season, 3.5 xFIP against lefties. One name that stuck out to me in this White Sox lineup, Eloy Jimenez, has missed a big chunk of the season. I don't know if maybe he came back yesterday. Sunday is my only day off, but seeing his name was kind of a welcome return. No, he didn't come back yet. So he was activated from the IL, and he could be in the lineup here, and it's just like what a name to pick up. It's like getting trading for somebody that you didn't actually trade for. We kind of had that same hope for the Yankees with like Luis Severino, right? Adding Eloy Jimenez to a number one team is pretty crazy. So he's somebody that can be an impact player immediately. I'm also kind of curious to see what his minor league numbers have looked like. I'm assuming that they were rehabbing him in the minors. So we'd focus on the lefties here, but Eloy, definitely one of their brighter, more talented young guns, and throwing him back into the mix is really, really exciting. They only have 7 at-bats in the minors so far, batting 500 against lefties, 400 against righties, with a bomb, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're ready. Let's go. Let's get to work." No stolen bases and no strikeouts. So Eloy's back for him. Hopefully he's in the lineup tonight. If he is, I think I'm right back to loving the White Sox against lefties. Coming into the season, I mean, this was a team that just straight up did not lose against lefties, and Mike Minor, somebody that they can beat. Decent fly ball rate, a high home run per 9 rate against righties, and this is a team that also can get into this Royals bullpen. Look at these averages against lefties: 286 or greater for 1 through 5, 267 if we stretch it to the top projected 6 batters, and there's a lot of ISO to shuffle in there. 200 plus ISO on Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Andrew Vaughn, and Eloy Jimenez. So I like this White Sox stack coming into this one. Implied run total of 5. I can happily get behind that, and I don't think I get to either pitcher, right? So let's keep it moving. Next game on the docket, Tigers at the Twins. Matt Manning, no relation to the future Hall of Famer, Eli, taking on Michael Pineda, the former Yankee great. Pineda, another name attached to potential trade discussions. I'm not expecting like a okey doke for this one, but we do have a Twins lineup out. The Twins are actually like projected to be pretty highly owned. I think they might be the highest owned collective stack on the day. Max Kepler, Brent Rooker in the 2 spot, Jorge Polanco batting 3rd. Twins are also big expected sellers. We've already seen them kind of start the selling by trading away Nelson Cruz, and then we're looking at guys like Josh Donaldson and Byron Buxton. It looks like Buxton and the Twins aren't really at the same area in terms of agreeing on an extension. So it would probably behoove the Twins, business-wise, to rent Buxton out to a contender for the rest of the year and get something in return. And there's, by the way, you Twins fans, there's a chance Nelson Cruz comes back next year as his contract's up, and it seems like they love him there and he likes it there. So could just be like a Chappie rental situation. Tigers do not have a confirmed lineup yet, but the Twins do. Tigers are throwing out Matt Manning. I said this over the weekend. Seems like the last 2 or 3 seasons, the second half of the season, the Tigers just become traveling Coors Field to me. Giving up, they have a really, really poor pitching rotation and a horrendous bullpen. If I go pull up this bullpen usage, Control F Tigers, and it'll happen in a second. It's taking forever. Control F Tigers. Look at some of these names: Jose Cisnero, Buck Farmer, Kyle Funkhouse, Derek Holland. We love picking on Derek Holland. He did pitch yesterday, so maybe he doesn't pitch today. Joe Jimenez, Ian Kroll, Daniel Norris, Erasmo Ramirez, and Gregory Soto. I think Soto's the closest thing they have to a good bullpen piece, and he's probably easily their top maybe trade prospect. I don't know, maybe they have a sneaky offensive guy like maybe Jonathan Scope or somebody they can get some value out of. But I think Soto is definitely one of their guys that they can dangle away. As I say that, the Tigers lineup just came out on my second screen here, so let me double check. Akul Badu, Jonathan Scope, Miguel Cabrera batting third, Jamer Candelario batting cleanup, Eric Haas in the 5 spot, Harold Castro. So Robbie Grossman not in the lineup, and he was just like a name I was speculating with. I don't know, maybe. All right, so confirmed lineup. So the Twins, for what it's worth, not really a lockdown pitching staff either, but I think Michael Pineda is at least somebody that at 6,900 on DraftKings, if you told me he parlayed a near 23% K rate to righties, Tigers have been not the greatest on the season in terms of strikeouts versus righties, but they have been pretty good overall in like their last 30 games. Maybe I get to a little bit of Pineda just because I'm not that fearful of this team, but I'm not super, like, I don't have massive expectations on Pineda, but on a site where I have to pick a second pitcher, there's probably a world where the Twins are decent enough favorites, minus 156, that I maybe seek out Pineda for a quality start range of outcome, but I will have some Tigers here. I actually like this Tigers lineup. Akil Badu has been crushing it in the leadoff spot. He's only 3,200. I mean, it's really incredible what he's done the last month. Maybe I'm overestimating it, but it just feels like out of that leadoff spot, Akil Badu has been easily their best hitter. So I'm gonna go to a last 30-day split just to appease my mind. Last 30 days team. We'll go to Detroit. Just kind of see what the numbers here are on Badu. Really everyone, but Badu in the last 30 days he's a bad WRC plus. Wow, I feel like he's been doing better. 4 bombs, 6 stolen bases, and a 22% walk rate. 286 BABIP, so that's fine. 253 average. 437 slugging. All right, so I guess my brain is remembering better things of Badu. But Jamer Candelario is doing pretty solid for him. A 273 average, walking over 12% with a 200 ISO. I think you could sell me on Badu, Scope, Candelario as some better pieces to build around if I had to get to a Tiger stack. Then if I gotta add in a Miggy and an Eric Haas, I can do that. I'm not in love with the bottom 4 of this projected lineup or confirmed lineup. The 2 Castros, Reyes, and Derek Hill. They just don't have a ton of underlying metrics that excite me. And there are some massive strikeout potentials in this lineup. Everyone over 20%. There's a few guys at 25 or greater getting close to 30. So that's why I can kind of see both sides of the spectrum get to a little Pineda, a little bit. But I'm also probably going to look at 1 through 5 here to satisfy some Tiger stacks. The Twins all out, man. Everyone is in play for me today. Max Kepler's a name I read this morning is potentially linked to the lefties as to the Yankees as a lefty outfielder. So maybe look for some late scratches from the Twins as we get closer to the deadline. But 1 through 5 looking pretty good to me. We only have 28 innings of sample size from Matt Manning, but he has really elevated the Twins to the top of the bomb detector today. And I'll refresh it since we got some confirmed lineups. It's going to reorder here. But I believe there was like 3 Twins in the top 4. Yeah, there was. Mitch Garver, Miguel Sano, and Josh Donaldson are the top 3, are 3 of the top 4 names in the bomb detector with ratings at 418, 422, and 444. So really good spot for them. And then this Tigers bullpen doesn't pick anyone up. They just keep on keeping on. So I think the Twins will project really well. But when I was looking this morning, about maybe 2 hours ago, it looked like the Twins were the highest projected owned stack. So maybe that changes as we get closer to lock, but there's every reason to believe it wouldn't. As a pure contact pitcher, about a collective 10% K rate, Matt Manning takes the field here in the 80 degrees for the target field area as well. So give me the Twins, a little bit of Tigers. It's rough. That's just Peyton's little bro. You think so? I feel like Peyton's little bro would be able to pitch just because that family's insane, right? What up, Justin Sports? Imagine, what up, Danielle? My girls? What the heck? Hasn't he been hurt? Who? Buxton, if we're thinking Buxton, yeah, Buxton's been hurt, but still somebody that they can dangle because before he got hurt, he was really doggone good. Rockies at the Angels, next game on the docket. Rockies implied run total 3.4. 3.4. That is as low as it comes for your average team. And they're bad, right? Rockies on the road, not good. They face Shohei Ohtani at home, Angel Stadium. Shohei Ohtani is definitely going to be your most sought-after pitcher on the slate. And then German Marquez makes an interesting run back, and I think a lot of players are just putting those two in the same lineup and trying to throw a blanket over the win, and maybe you can get 20 strikeouts out to 2 of them, and hopefully no more than four Ernie's. German Marquez on the road this season, 26.3% K rate, 3.5 xFIP, 237 average allowed, a 108 home run per 9, and the ground ball rate higher than the fly ball rate, and higher than the hard contact rate, which is I like to see that. So we can easily justify Marquez here in the Shohei Ohtani. Struggling a little bit more to lefties this season, but still the xFIP close enough to 4 where he's fine. A 307 xFIP to righties, really, really good. A 38.7% K rate, a 155 average allowed. Let me double check that information just so. Actually, I don't know. I'm always scared to lean on Ohtani stats here because of a lot of stat providers not knowing how to mix in the proper information between his hitting and his pitching. But yeah, I think Ohtani's certainly the most sought after pitcher on the slate today. Easily a minus 145 favorite, so he's not easily the favorited here because Marquez does get some respect. But it's a good spot for him to do well. Let's see, pitching, and go to strikeout rate versus righties. Yeah, 38.7. So that's accurate information. The whip is pretty low, under 1 against righties, and a 270 BABIP. So even the BABIP is pretty strong. Not maybe on the lucky side of 270, but not that much. So give me Ohtani for sure. I would like to get a little bit different on this slate at pitcher, but there's not really other like maybe Luis Garcia is somebody I can sell myself on, but there's not really like a ton of alternatives that I feel great about, right? Usually if I want an alternative to a pitcher, I'm really looking for someone that can give me some of maybe the same ceiling, but also kind of hedging on that pitcher getting beat up. And the Rockies just don't give me that warm and fuzzy ability to get to Ohtani here. Maybe the lefties, but the only Blackman, McMahon, like those are the only two I would really profile as somebody that would be fearful of. So Ohtani has to be your most sought after pitcher. And if you're playing cash games, single entries, he's easily going to be the highest owned player in my estimation. Marquez here, we said almost a 30% K rate to righties, 21% to lefties. This Angels lineup projects a little bit more half and half. So you have to get your platoon strikeouts. And one of those guys is David Fletcher. He's not going to strike out. Then Jose Iglesias, not a strikeout guy. So really, Justin Upton, Max Stassi, Jack Mayfield, you're hoping those guys strike out almost twice against Marquez, and then maybe Marquez can parlay a strikeout out of one of the lefties. Ohtani and Walsh being the most likely, maybe Brandon Marsh. I don't have enough sample size on him, but 8,400 on Marquez. I don't need as much strikeout returns as I probably want from Ohtani, but I just need him to be at least the top 2, top 3 scoring pitcher on the slate and not get beat up. And I think it's fine to project him as that. Maybe he get us a strikeout per inning. I'm liking him a lot. He's also a guy that maybe gets moved. I've definitely thought that the Rockies should have cashed in on him a couple seasons back, but that's a team that in that division, the NL West, they just should hit the explode button, and I think they're on that path here. Trevor Story to follow up the Arenado offseason trade. Trevor Story's been a name I've heard a lot in trade rumors, and then I think Marquez is certainly somebody that I would love as a Yankee fan, but I think any team would love a guy like Marquez in their rotation. But give me both pitchers here. If I wanted to pick on Marquez, there's really not a lot of exciting bats from the Angels when you can't play Ohtani. Maybe Jared Walsh, somebody like that. So I don't think I get to an Angel stack, but I might click some activate buttons in the optimizer. So if a Walsh fell here or there in some lineups, sure. And the same with the Rockies, right? If I got to a little bit of Charlie Blackmon, at least 2,900 on Fanduel or Ryan McMahon, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I think I'm leaning way more to the pitching side of things here than anything else, right? What up, Rashad? You woke this morning, opened up YouTube, and got yourself a gun. Yes, sir. I was talking about Badu, but I was thinking Jazzy from the Marlins. Yeah, Jazz Chisholm. Quinn says, I love a tournament slate where Ohtani is chalk. Pitchers are chalk in baseball is definitely mathematically way more volatile than any other DFS sport that we play, right? Because so many things could happen. But I think at the end of the day, in your mind, you have to believe that at least on DraftKings that Ohtani doesn't have a massive chance of being a top 2 is the goal, right? A top 2 scoring pitcher. But top 3, top 4, because even if you're like the SP4 or SP5, you're not eliminated from being in contention for a tournament. Just the way baseball works and the variance of fantasy points throughout your lineup. But it's hard to look at the list of pitchers on the slate and not believe that Ohtani routinely is a top 4 scoring pitcher, much less a top 2. But I get your sentiment, but at the same time, oh man, there's not a ton of things or a ton of options elsewhere. I think Luis Garcia is going to be the main pushback option I have here. So maybe some Luis Garcia, German Marquez lineups or something like that would be the pushback. But even Marquez, I think will pick up a little bit of steam. But yeah, there's not as many alternatives on this slate as I would like, and it also could mean that 20 fantasy points is optimal, right? And that's another thing where baseball separates itself from other sports. Basketball, your top dogs, your 10K guys, they're gonna need that 50, 60 fantasy point performance. In baseball, the optimal scoring fantasy points is really subjective to that particular slate that night. And the optimal score could be 30, 40 fantasy points based on the options on the table, or it could just be 20, 25. And I definitely think tonight feels more like a 20-25, and there's really only 3 guys that I have the comfort level and the confidence level to kind of project them there as a median range outcome. That's Ohtani, that's maybe Marquez, and probably Garcia. And we're going to talk about Garcia, but first, we're going to take a pause for the cause. Let you guys know that RunDFS.com, that's the place you guys can get my proprietary research spreadsheets if you guys want to get locked in. I think for the next month, it's going to be as cheap as it'll ever be, just because there's only baseball and it's a low stress, low pressure sport. But when football comes back, and then in mid-October when basketball comes back, the prices will go right back to normal. It's usually $100 a month during peak season. Right now it's only, I think it was 60, but don't quote me. Let me see. 60. And then of course we have the end of year pass up, the Super Bowl special. So if you guys want to lock into everything I put out up until the Super Bowl, that'll get you the whole football season, much of the basketball season, the rest of baseball. And then of course we got the MVP package. That's until the end of basketball next June. Well, there's some big boy prices, so I'm gonna hit you with sign up and then see for yourself things, but that'll unlock spreadsheets for everything that I do: baseball, basketball, football. I do game by game notes, and then we do the pre-lock voice chat every day for basketball, for baseball, as long as I don't have commitments elsewhere. And then for football, we like to do the night before study session, and then hopefully this year it'll be a little bit more morning of stuff, right? And then of course, show some love to the sponsor, PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com. Get signed up. Now that we've talked about a lot of the slate, Shohei Ohtani, who has a crazy strikeout rate to righties. What do we say? Almost 40%. We know that his K prop is 6.5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters in this Rockies lineup, and they do pick up the DH, but 5 hitters in this Rockies lineup striking out at 1 in 4 or greater on average. So if Ohtani can get you 6 innings, we can put 80 to 90 pitches. Do we like 6.5? 6.5 is up there. But let's go look at the K Factory here. So the K Factory is a strikeout prediction model I've devised to work fluidly with the projected and or confirmed lineup and give you a mathematical output on potential strikeouts. So if I gave him 90 pitches, it comes back with 7.5 strikeouts. So could be some reason to bet the over on 6.5 strikeouts for Shohei Ohtani. And if you guys want to do that on PrizePicks.com, add it to a parlay card. If you're not on PrizePicks, sign up using code GUNDACKER, and they're going to match your initial deposit bonus, or match your initial deposit up to $100. So $20 turns into $40, $100 turns into $200, and it's instant, no slow drip. Have some fun, fire away some parlay tickets. Be responsible. Probably shouldn't make a bunch of 4 power plays, but make yourself some cash game type tickets, right? Two leg parlays. The return might be a little bit modest, but it's a little bit more reasonable, and it's a good way to kind of build your bankroll. At least grind it. If you want to use that as cash games, then use that to finance your tournament life on Fanduel or DraftKings. It's cool with me, boo boo. Let's get you guys in the chat before we get on to the main event. Quinn says, if Ohtani is wild, he'll torpedo so many lineups. The leash on him can be pretty short, like his start in Yankee Stadium. Yes, sir. But let's just be honest. He was facing a world-class Yankee lineup, bro. The pressure was high. Sean says, Ohtani on almost every thumbnail pick for videos. Too much herd mentality group think. Herd mentality? You think it's a herd mentality to play Shohei Ohtani against the Road Rockies? Maybe. I don't know about that. I think he's clearly the best pitcher on the slate. At home, a 3.52 xFIP, 30% K rate, a sub 200 average allowed, a 0.83 home run per 9. The walk's a little bit up there. You definitely don't want a 12% walk rate. But I mean, the ground ball rate's high. He's a good pitcher. So I don't think it's herd mentality. I just think it's a process of elimination, right? I would have loved to have somebody that wasn't Ohtani on the thumbnail, but I'm not anti-Ohtani. He's easily the poster boy. Also, you got to remember, you got to put people on the thumbnail that people are going to click. If I put a picture of Jack Mayfield on the thumbnail, I don't know if it does as well for the aesthetic side of things. Anyway, let's go check out this main event. No projector labs. Astros at the Mariners. Your main event tonight, 10:10 p.m. Eastern. Astros are going to be throwing Luis Garcia on the bump up against Darren McCann. I hope I'm saying that right, but sue me if I'm not. Luis Garcia, 4.11 xFIP against righties, 3.63 xFIP against lefties, 4.5 xFIP on the road, but a 27% K rate, 219 average allowed, and a 1.29 home run per nine. Mariners are kind of like the Tigers, where they've been better than we realize, but they're still not a team I'm running from. And I think Garcia is the pivot, so to speak, to an Ohtani in terms of a matchup potential, strikeout potential, ceiling potential. So I for what it's worth, Garcia, 10.4K, still designated as a relieving pitcher on DK. Last couple starts, 6 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings, 6 innings. Hasn't gone much higher than 90 pitches. 93 pitches on June 30th. 88, then 79. So we'll soft project him at 80 to 90. But even in those 80 to 90, like 21 to 32 in his last 2 games, definitely a range of outcome for Luis Garcia to be the number 1 scoring pitcher on the slate. So I would say if I had to pivot from Ohtani, it would be Garcia, and that's almost a snap call decision. But I do think his spot maybe is a little. The xFIP's a little bit higher than I would like against righties, but the strikeout stuff is absolutely there. The swinging strike rate, 13.5%, called strike at 17.7% is nuts, and a low barrel rate to boot. So I'm all about some Garcia here. I don't mind it. I definitely don't have much interest in the Mariners. Much like the Rockies, who have a 3.4 implied run total, the Mariners on the south side of 4 themselves at 3.7. So it's a good spot for him, and it's a good spot for his offense. The Astros have a 4.9 implied run total. I'm sure that'll push 5 by lock time. I guess we got to do some research on McCann. We got 5 innings of sample size in the big leagues. That's nothing. So let's see if we can't find some information on him in the minors. So we're going to pull up the MLB.com card on Darren McCann. He is a cheesy guy looking like sunshine. Sunshine! All right, first of all, I'm going to check out game logs, see if he's a stretch out starter. So July, 5 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings. So yeah, he's a fully stretched out starter for them. And in his last start at Colorado, 0 strikeouts in 5 innings, then 4 and 6, 4 and 7, 7 and 6. So it does look like he's a contact pitcher, but the average allowed and the whip isn't like terrible. Let's go check out the splits and see if we can't beat him up with some lefties and or righties. Wait, that can't be 2.1, 3.1 innings. What did I just look at on game log then? On July 6, 7, 6 innings, 5 innings. That's clearly. Oh, maybe it's giving me his major league splits, and I gotta. Can I drop that to minors? 2.1, 3.1. I'm pretty sure that's his major league splits, but I don't know if it'll let me drop it to. At least I don't see a way to do it. If I'm doing this wrong, if someone knows how to do it, let me know. But I guess in the meantime, we'll look at his overall minor league stats. We've got 11 games started, 64 innings pitched, 52 strikeouts, 1.14 whip. Would Fangraphs have his minor numbers? Probably not, right? Wonder why it did that to me. It says 30 innings of away games, but then only gives me 5 innings of sample size against lefties and righties. Clearly, I must be looking at something wrong. I don't know. Homers allowed in those 30 away innings, 4 and 30, so fine, 271. I think we bet on the shakiness of a not proven starter in McCann, a Astros team that has been one of the best road teams in WRC plus. They are a plus WRC plus team against righties in general. It's just a really scary lineup. So I do like the Astros as a stack. They may fall into the shadows of like the Twins in terms of a stackable team. I don't know that they would get below the Tigers, but I do think the Twins looking like they're going to take the lead in terms of team stacks. Maybe the Red Sox go up there as well. So yeah, give me some Astros here. I don't mind that. And sometimes the fear of the unknown will cause a player base to stay away from a stack. And I think I'd rather bet on the known, the hitters that bat almost 300 against both sides of the plate with low K rates and a positive park for power, right? 106 is the rating I got on the home runs in T-Mobile Park. That's 6 points above league average. So give me some Astro stacks. Give me some Garcia. If we got to pick on Garcia, he does allow a 256 average to lefties and a 134 home run per nine. I guess Kyle Seager would be the guy. Maybe Cal Raleigh. I do like his minor league numbers to kind of start building up his major league numbers a little bit. Just 2,100 on Fanduel, 24 on DK. But it doesn't feel like a spot where I feel pressured to alleviate salary in my lineups today. So if I got to him, it might be a one-off. I don't see myself getting to a dedicated Mariner stack often. But Garcia does have a near five, or excuse me, an elevated power rate to two lefties, so maybe he gets into one. But for the most part, give me Garcia's arm, give me the Astros bats, and I'm not going to play McCann. And that's it, man. That is our slate. So chat, if we have any questions, comments, concerns to kind of recap the slate, we'll go for it. I'll see if some more lineups came out. We can maybe adjust some of our previous thoughts and stuff like that, right? Tall says, imagine not understanding how good Ohtani is. I thought that was a given. Yeah, Ohtani's good. He's almost annoyingly good, right? Like people don't shut up about him good. That's how good he is, but he's good, right? Ohtani's an amazing spot. I'm just embracing the variance, going way underweight on him in tournaments. A risky strategy, but I'm trying to win a GPP. I don't mind that, Quinn. I don't mind that. Like, to be contrarian for the sake of being contrarian is one thing, but to mathematically justify it, right? If you know 40% of the field is going to be attached to Ohtani, and on DraftKings it could be above 40%. That's a crazy way to be different, right? That's what leverage is, whether it's plus or negative at the end of the night. You know, the results are results, but pre-flop, if you want to make yourself different, that's definitely one way to do it. I don't think I'm going on that type of leverage hunt today at pitcher. I think I'm going to be pretty rock solid on Garcia, Ohtani, and probably Marquez. And then we're going to really spin the wheel, make a deal with some of those riskier guys like the Pinedas and stuff like that, right? What up, Lorenza? Anyway, what lineups came out while I was blabbering about this one? And we might adjust some live stuff. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, throw them in chat. We'll address it, maybe some community thoughts. Otherwise, if you are getting out of here, man, I appreciate your time. Hit that thumbs up before you hit that door, and double check. Just, am I subscribed to Gun? Am I subscribed? Because if you're not, what are you doing? Anyway, Nats lineup did come out. Alcides Escobar, Turner, Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Josh Harrison, Baby Shark, Ben Six, Trey Barrera, Victor Robles, as projected. So we'll hit the green light on that. We'll check the next game. Blue Jays lineup is not out yet. Reds lineup, I think we already had. We did. Royals lineup is out. Tigers and Twins are both confirmed. We had that. So that was it. That's the only lineup that came out. Otherwise, we are chilling like a villain, waiting for the rest of the lineups to come out as trade deadline week looms, right? Detroit and Washington came out while we were streaming. Okay, Detroit. I think we might have had Detroit. Yeah, we did. And Detroit is really, like, I think it's 1 through 4, maybe 5 for me. You guys want to play with the bomb detector a little bit? See if there's any crazy names up here. Haas is up there, but it's only on 49 innings of pitching sample size, 78 at bats. Teoscar Hernandez profiles pretty well, right? That's not really a name I would run after. But I guess against Nick Pivetta, that does well. So sometimes if I see some shaky names with high ratings on the bomb detector, also want to maybe cross-reference the pitch report. So first of all, Nick Pivetta has a 128 home run per 9, 2 righties. Teoscar Hernandez, a 218 ISO. What is the pitch report telling me? Does he hit Pivetta's pitch types, or at least his big two pitches well. Well, he has a 175 rating against the fastball, a plus, not great, but plus rating against the slider, negative rating against the curve. Yeah, okay, so it's fine. Sean V, the GOAT. Sean, are you, I'm trying to think, are you Maniac? Is that you on Twitter? I feel like I knew a Sean, but I'm not for sure. My memory is shot. By the way, twitter.com/gundacker. DMs are open if you guys ever have any process questions. Anybody else high in the bomb detector that is driving us nuts? Andrew Vaughn's up there. Marcus Semien has a decently high rating. I think the Toronto Blue Jays righties are going to be a point of interest for me. So if I had to come back to the slate and come up with 4 stacks that I would probably build 20 lineups around for my 20 entry max, it definitely would be the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Twins, probably the White Sox. I like this White Sox projected lineup against lefties, and then of course the Astros. So that's 4 or 5. If I was going to do 5 teams, I would do 4 lineups each stack in 20 entry. And if I was going to do 4, I would do 5 lineups each in 20 entry. And then, of course, right now I'm being basic at pitcher. I'm building around Ohtani, Marquez, and Luis Garcia. But that's it, man. That's pretty much it. That's the fun in DFS, the several approaches to solving the puzzles. Yeah. And again, leverage doesn't have to be pitcher, right? Leverage could be the 30% owned bat. I think on a slate like this, if one of these bats got to 30%, I'd rather go against that 30% than a 40% on Ohtani to not be a top 3 scoring pitcher. And that's just, it's slate to slate, right? Every slate is different. It's like some snowflakes as we get different options in DFS. What is tomorrow's schedule looking like? MLB schedule. I think tomorrow might be a big day. This is a travel day for a lot. Tomorrow might be wide open. So let me see what tomorrow's agenda looks like. We got I think it might be every team. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yeah, every team in the league plays tomorrow. Main slate, normal lock, 7:05 Eastern, 6:05 Central. It's going to be big. So if you guys are cool with it, I'm cool with it. I think on Friday we kind of talked about doing regular 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern streams on this channel. If you guys want that, I'll try and grind it out all week. We'll look back with my team of lawyers and analysts and be like, hey, do we keep this up until football's back? And if so, we will. It is quiet and it is slow enough, so I don't mind doing it, right? Be a 20-game slate tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, guys, man, I appreciate you. I really do. If you guys haven't already, hit that thumbs up. Please do me at least that much. Hit that thumbs up. Helps the channel, helps the algorithm. And if you really want to be extra about it, come back in 10 minutes and leave a comment on the video. All that stuff really helps drive the channel's noticeability in the algorithm. And yeah. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys crushed it tonight. If you guys got any more questions, comments, concerns for me, twitter.com/gundacker. I love you. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.